That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Jason David Frank.
Boom shakalaka.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't done it yet, go on down and hit subscribe. Come back over and over again. We are here all day long. We are at Cosography 2018, hosted by Jake Estrada and David Grace, also the hosts of Space Coast Comic-Con. And we are here right now hanging with author and book reviewer Gary Roen. Gary, how are you, man?
Nice to be back.
Yeah, so... Well, it's been about a year.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It's been about a year.
Doesn't feel like it. It's been a busy
No.
go
No,
time,
I know.
And I know you've been busy.
I've been super busy.
You've got reviews going on.
Yeah.
You got a brand new book coming.
Brand new book.
Let's
I
talk
have
about
another
it.
one coming too after that one.
After that one.
After that one.
You've just been a busy guy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new books.
Okay.
All right, let's start here.
Yeah,
Okay, what
that's
we
the
got?
first one.
This we got here. We got the Forgotten Father.
Yes. Forgotten Father. It's
right.
I actually wrote it a number of years ago.
Okay.
It was after the death of my son. His name was Michael. And I put it together and didn't do anything with it for so many years. But what I want to do with it now is say to fathers, hey, I'm tired of hearing the story from fathers that people come up and say, how are you doing?
Yeah.
How is your wife doing? How is your wife doing? Never once did anybody say that to me. Not once. Then I hear it 30 years later of the same thing. That's why I'm bringing the book out.
Wow, fantastic. Give us a little bit of the cliff notes on this.
It's basically my thoughts on what happened in my situation. And then the publisher was gracious enough to include another author's poem about the loss of his son or the death of his son. We always like to say loss, but it's actual death. And so his was an older son, but it correlates with what I'm saying, the forgotten father. And fathers have feelings too.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm showing in this book.
That's
There are
fantastic.
pictures. It's a wonderful book from Taylor and Seal. It will be making its debut in the next few weeks.
That is fantastic. We're going to keep an eye out for that as we go through and we do our editing. We want to make sure we put links down below so people can find the Forgotten Father.
Yeah, the links will be, it'll be a Kindle.
Okay.
It will be a Nook. By the time this show runs, it will be
Out
and about.
Yeah.
And what is it, Smashword or something like that?
they do
It'll
some
be
digital
that.
publishing, yep.
And it will be available in Barnes & Nobles and every bookstore in the country.
Fantastic. Well, check out the Forgotten Father, guys. We're going to put links down below. And what else do we have coming?
Now, Journey
We talked about.
We talked about the last time, but when we talked about it, I didn't have what I have now. It is a Kindle.
Okay.
Sells for
okay.
$9.99. It is available in Barnes & Noble and any bookstore because we changed printers. And it's out and available. Anybody who wants to read short story collection, and they should, because my new collection called Slotsky's World, Taylor and Seal, ties back to this book. And I did it deliberately to tie in the short stories here with the character in the new series
That is
of
fantastic.
short stories.
That is awesome. This is a fantastic collection of short stories featuring the one and only Ugly Bear.
Ugly Bear, Slotsky Bear.
That's right.
You got it.
And guys, if you haven't checked this out, this is an amazing, it really is a journey.
It is.
Following Slotsky is,
Yeah.
it takes you to about every emotional state that I think we've all been in.
Yeah.
And that's what writers do. We deliver that human truth.
Exactly.
And in this collection of short stories, this takes you on. You get to be an observer, a spectator on a journey, a series of journeys, rather.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And but everything will sound familiar. Everything will harken to things, experiences that you've had, feelings that you've had. Whether it's early on in some of the early stories where you could feel that vibe of the outsider and the kind of or later on when you're actually experiencing more things.
But I do that in the new series too, and one of the particular short stories in it is very fascinating to me because I had a friend who was an editor, and he took it because he wanted to edit my stuff, He didn't edit, he rewrote it. And I refused to talk to him. I refused to talk to him about what he did at all. And it dissolved the friendship, but he called my publisher, Legacy Book Publishing, raised hell with them about the editing of the book. Every book has a little bit of a problem in the editing. A little bit. But not enough to do what this friend did.
You and I both have, when we finish a story, we finish a book, we finish a chapter, we have that pride of authorship.
Exactly.
And it's really hard when editors come in and even in just the grammatical editing is one thing, we all need that to help us. Story editing, a story editor needs to have a delicate hand.
Well,
because we have pride of authorship in what we're doing.
But when you're talking about the editor, I know the process because when I got my dad's book and other books published with Kensington, I saw what the process is. And the process is they would put out to the side, I think you can do this better, I think you can do this, but they would not go in and change it.
Right. It's advising.
Yeah, it's advising.
That's right.
That's what an editor does. This wasn't that. This was completely changing words here, words here. Now, what I didn't like was how he changed the effect of the story. Now, I had Beth Adebayo and other readers like, I'm trying to think, Sharon Ahern, read the work, the short story. This particular one, I wanted the effect of a Twilight Zone. Each person who read it said, oh my God, I didn't see it coming. Twilight Zone. Yes. That's what you want. If you set out to achieve, that's what you want to hear from readers and writers, and that's what I heard. What he did is took away the whole effect of the Twilight Zone, kind of explaining what was going on.
A lot of times, and I think a lot of times authors tend to be less pragmatic about our readers. We write, we expect you to understand stuff.
Exactly.
An editor's pragmatism sometimes, especially if they're too invested in what they're doing, means that they feel really strongly that the reader needs to have everything explained for them, everything's laid out for them, and doesn't necessarily trust a reader, because a reader to an editor is not a reader, it's a customer.
But there are ways to do it.
Yes.
There are ways to do it, but the editor, his or her function is not to go in and completely change what you wrote. That's co-writing. That's different.
It's one of the reasons I think there's such a high demand right now in the industry for small press and indie publishing companies.
Exactly.
Because so much of the time, especially the big houses, had story editors that went in and blocked out entire chunks of story.
Yeah.
And left writers feeling like, hey, that wasn't where I was going.
Exactly.
And so we've seen, I think, this renaissance that you and I have experienced in publishing is largely driven by authors wanting to control their own, not just their own business destiny, but their own artistic destiny.
But you also take somebody like Jamie Angle, who's also here.
Actually, yep.
Fantastic. She's a fantastic story of the whole thing.
Yes.
Of what you're saying. Now, most of us probably would not get published with the major publishers. I'm not looking to get published by them. Now, in my dad's case, I was. In the case of other people, I was. And I did get them published.
As we explore this new business paradigm that we find ourselves in, what we find out is that you have options now.
Yes.
If you have a project that you're really creatively passionate about, there's independent and small press opportunities. If you have a project that you're more commercially ambitious for and you're willing to make those changes and those things, there are avenues available now.
Exactly.
It's a bigger pond, and
it is, and it's a better pond.
It is.
It's much better.
And I think truth will out always. So we will see as the trees get shaken in the next few years. We'll start to see the cream rise to the top. And I think writers like you're talking about, Jamie Angle and yourself, and we're going to see a great the results of what has been a fantastic renaissance in
Exactly.
publishing right now.
Well, that's why I sought out Legacy Book Publishing last year. That's why I found Taylor and Seal, and how I found that is what we were talking about too. Authors have to get out and promote. Authors have to come to events like this. Now, I met you here last year,
Yes, sir.
and did the interview last year, and I'm back, and here we are. The other factor
We
is
love it when that happens,
yeah,
by the way.
you know,
we love it
it
when
is.
that happens, and we love
It
being
is.
a part of these journeys because they are just
Exactly.
that. When you step into the arts and entertainment industry, you're at the precipice of a wonderful or a horrific journey. There's
Exactly.
very little middle ground, and if you allow the wonder to carry you, it carries us all.
And I met Jeff Boyle, who is published with Taylor and Seal and another publisher, and he said, hey, you should contact my publisher, which I did in February. And the head of the publishing house got back with me in March, said, I want to publish this collection. We'll title it, I love your title, Slotsky's World. And in the meantime, she had a meeting with all these authors and new authors, and I pitched Forgotten Father. She said, then she said, okay, send it to me. That was on Saturday. Monday, I followed up just to see if she got it because AOL doesn't work 100% for me. She said, I not only got it, I want to publish this one too.
Awesome.
And so the end result is The Forgotten Father.
That's fantastic. We love those stories.
Yeah.
That's the shut up card. She waves it at us like we don't, see her. So we do. We see you, and we're going to thank our partners and our friends at Some Unique Magazine, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies, and our great friends over at Krypton Radio. We introduced just this last year a 1 hour, once a week talk radio series where
fantastic.
we talk about writing and science fiction. And
I'd love to
everything
be
else.
on that too.
Absolutely.
Okay,
We're going to let
you
you
got
know. Check us out every Thursday night at 7 p.m. there, and every day, every weekday between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, we have a new episode of the Hangin With Web Show coming out. Until the next time, remember, stay logged on, stay tuned in, and see who we're hanging with next. Awesome. Gary,
Awesome.
thank you so much,
Hey,
man. That was
yeah.
awesome.